York judge on Friday delayed former U.S. President Donald Trump's sentencing in his hush-money criminal case until after the November 5 election, writing that he wants to avoid the unwarranted perception of a political motive. Trump, the Republican nominee for president, had previously been scheduled to be sentenced on Sept. 18. His lawyers in August asked Justice Juan Merchan to push back his sentencing date until after the vote, citing naked election interference objectives. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who brought the charges against Trump, is a Democrat. Merchan said on Friday he now planned to sentence Trump on November 26, unless the case is dismissed before then. The imposition of sentence will be adjourned to avoid any appearance, however unwarranted, that the proceeding has been affected by or seeks to affect the approaching presidential election in which the defendant is a candidate, the judge wrote, opens new tab. The court is a fair, impartial and apolitical institution. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump said he appreciated that Merchan noted the sentencing would only take place if the judge denies a pending motion by his lawyers to toss out the jury's verdict. This case should be rightfully terminated, as we prepare for the most important election in the history of our country, Trump wrote. In the first ever criminal trial of a former or current U.S. president, Trump was convicted on May 30 on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up his then lawyer's $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels for her silence before the 2016 election about a sexual encounter she says she had with Trump a decade earlier. Trump denies the encounter and has vowed to appeal the verdict once he is sentenced. A spokesperson for Bragg said, the Manhattan DA's office stands ready for sentencing on the new date set by the court. Threaded the needle. In his 4-page ruling, Merchan wrote that he would rule Trump's request to overturn the conviction due to the U.S. Supreme Court's landmark decision on presidential immunity on November 12. He had previously planned to rule on Sept. 16. The Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling, which related to a separate criminal case Trump faces, found that presidents cannot be criminally prosecuted for their official acts, and that evidence of presidents' official actions cannot be used to help prove criminal cases involving unofficial actions. Prosecutors with Bragg's office argued their case involved Trump's personal conduct, not official acts, so there was no reason to overturn the verdict. But they took no position on Trump's request to delay sentencing, saying in an August 16 filing they deferred to Merchan on the question. The prosecutors said an appellate court could delay the sentencing anyway to give itself time to consider Trump's arguments, a move they said would be disruptive. In declining to advocate for a sentencing date before the election, Bragg may have been conscious of Trump's oft-repeated claim of election interference, said George Grasso, a retired New York state judge who attended Trump's trial. He's probably appropriately sensitive to opening himself up to charges from Trump and Trump supporters that he's being too political, Grasso said. He threaded the needle. Falsifying business records is punishable by up to 4 years in prison, though punishments such as fines or probation are more common. If Trump wins the White House, he could potentially order the Department of Justice to drop federal election interference charges against him. He would not have the authority to end the New York State case or an election interference case in Georgia.